So coming into this one, the Lakers were 5-1 on the second night of back-to-backs. I think this was just an off night for them. JaVale McGee out. But let's look at the Washington Wizards. John Wall with his 40, Bradley Beal 25, Jeff Green 20, Sam Decker also with 20, playing without Austin Rivers and Kelly Oubre, who are waiting to be traded for that to go through, and Trevor Ariza to come in. So shorthanded. There's some new guys that are stepping up for this team. For the Wizards, all they've been dealing with off the court. Is this the kind of win that helps them try to figure things out and get back on track, GA?
It can be. And I'll tell you also, the other thing that can help you get on track is a trade. When you shake up that locker room, that brings about a sense of urgency. That puts everybody on notice. And I think you saw that tonight with how they came out. Because their overall energy, and you talked about, it wasn't just Wall who was brilliant and Beal. Their energy level across the board was just different. They played with a sense of urgency that we just hadn't seen. And then there was also, I felt more discipline. Now, they still had 17 turnovers, but they just seemed to be more engaged and more active over the course of 48 minutes. And I think what we've seen from them this season is like they have stretches where they just, as a team, they seem to lack effort and focus. And they didn't have that tonight, which was impressive to watch.
But I think that's what's so frustrating and confusing about this Washington Wizards team is they have the potential. They have talent, and it's just about consistency. I mean, they had a win similar to this at the beginning of the season with the Houston Rockets. They were able to have that overtime win against them, and then after the next couple games, they lost and didn't give much effort and got blown out. So, I'll believe it when there's back-to-back games and there's a 5-game span where Washington brings it, and it's led by John Wall. Mm-hmm. His stats are always going to be great, but it's the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet that really put him over the top in contributing to teams' wins.
Candace, as a best player on a team, right, how much do you set the tone? For instance, we see the effort in a game like this in John Wall with the 40 points, and he looks incredible, and everything follows suit. That hasn't been the case for the most part this season. As the best player on most of the teams that you're on, how do you set the tone for how everyone else plays?
Well, the greats, they do the tangible things well that show up on the stat sheets. But really, when you're a leader, you're doing the intangible things. You're diving for loose balls. You're talking in huddles. You're in tune defensively. You're not late on rotations. You always know the scheme. And those are things that these guys are looking to their left and their right. They're looking for Bradley Beal, and they're looking for John Wall to do those things on a consistent basis.
I think she hits it on the head. Like, when you're the leader and the face of the franchise, one thing you want to do is you want to give your teammates a sense that you play for them, and you also want to inspire them. That stuff's important, and we've seen it. It's been well documented. There is a lot of conflict in that locker room. There are a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of finger pointing and things of that nature. And being a leader, being the best player, there's a lot of responsibility with that. And it hasn't necessarily meshed the way you would like in Washington. And that's one reason why we've seen this trade. And the question is going to be moving forward, are we going to see more with this team?
They're 12-18 on the season now. If they were out west, we would be talking about, oh, they're too far out of it. But in the East, they're 2.5 games out of the A spot for the postseason. So what should their mindset be right now as they're looking at the playoffs as very much still a possibility, still in the hunt?
Oh, listen, they're right in it. I mean, you win 4 or 5 in a row, they're right back in the mix. And we still have a tremendous amount of season left. So I think also this is where parity helps, because it's not like teams are running away and hiding right now. You've got, other than the Pacers really, and Brooklyn's play well, nobody has more than a 2-game win streak in the Eastern Conference. So if you can get on a nice run here, you can make up some ground and get back into the thick of it. And then all of a sudden now we're not talking about the way this team looked the first few months of the season.
Yeah, the expectations, I think that's the key. The expectations was not for them to be fighting for the 8th spot. That's where the things get lost in the shuffle. It was for them to be contending in the East this year. So there's a chance for them to make the playoffs, which is good, but I don't think that was their expectations.
Well, as you said,